Welcome back to Career Nuggets. Today's topic is breaking the glass ceiling, dealing with stagnation in the workplace, and I'm joined by Kelly Fryer, and we have been discussing the possible reasons behind lack of progression in our careers. Now it's time to read out some of your responses to the questions posed on the screen earlier. The question was, what causes stagnation in the workplace? We have two responses. Laya from Aberdeen said, a lack of positive forward thinking will leave you very stagnant in the workplace. Josiah from Taunton Heath, internal conflicts that may not even be your fault can leave you feeling that there is no way forward in that employment. What have you got to say about those?
I think I'd possibly agree with both of those, really. I think absolutely, as we've touched on, I suppose, quite a lot in the first segment, confidence is a big issue. And I think if you don't have the confidence in yourself, that can lead to a lot of sort of staying stagnant in the workplace, not wanting to progress, maybe not having the confidence to look elsewhere. I think that's a very interesting point. Again, maybe the second comment that you touched on there. I think, yes, in some workplaces, maybe if, I don't know, a manager doesn't particularly like you, you don't get through a recruitment panel, if there's any sort of unfair selection process.
Okay.
And again, if the talent management strategy hasn't been right or the talent management programme hasn't been enough to develop either some of your development areas or further develop some of your strengths, then again, I think that can be key. So possibly agree with both of those.
So you agree with both of them?
Yeah.
Okay, so before we went on a break, we were talking about the glass ceiling,
Yes.
particularly how it affects women.
Yes.
Now, do you believe there's a glass ceiling?
I think it's something, again, as I've said, it's not something that I personally have ever experienced. So I think for me, no.
Okay.
But again, I think with the organisations that I've worked at, some of my colleagues, some of my friends, even some of my family absolutely believe that it's there and they're very clearly in their organisations. I suppose for me, can give them a few hints and tips as to kind of how to get themselves over it. And I go to a lot of, as I've said, I deliver some women in business development courses,
right, yeah.
and I've also gone to a lot as well.
Okay.
So I think a lot of it does come back to self-confidence, how you see yourself, how you view yourself, and really having a greater understanding of who you are and what your strengths are.
Okay.
I think those statistics between the men and women, I'd be quite interested actually to sort of see the groups that were involved in that.
Okay.
Are the 38%, I don't know, husbands, brothers, fathers, and they've seen it from their other halves or their family members. Have they seen something that has hindered their colleagues from getting a promotion? And has their colleagues said to them it's because of this glass ceiling? I think the wording itself is not something, although I've said throughout my HR career, I think it's something that I've seen. I have never heard the people, employees, use the term glass ceiling within an organisation.
Okay.
I think we talk about, potentially I didn't get it because I was a woman, or I didn't get it because of this, that, or the other.
Okay.
So I think maybe we need to do a little bit more explanation around that to see why it is all been sort of encompassed into this glass ceiling. Topic. Yeah.
Another phrase that's now coming up on the horizon is called a glass cliff.
Yes.
Now, what's that about?
The glass cliff, again, it's not a new concept, but I think it's something that we've started to look at. And really with the glass cliff, I suppose for those women that have broken the glass ceiling or broken through the glass ceiling for themselves and got themselves into various senior positions, managing directors, directorships, those sorts of things. The glass cliff is being much more commonly referred to as more and more women break through the ceiling. And really what it refers to is those women that have got into those senior positions, but maybe have then not been given the right level of support, unrealistic timeframes, maybe not the right level of budget to allow them to make the changes that they've been sort of assigned as they've gone into the role. Because of those unrealistic either timeframes or budget or lack of support, they're very quickly then being pushed off what is being termed as the glass cliff. So they're being given very short timeframes, sometimes very unrealistic targets and deadlines. And if they haven't achieved it within that point, they're either saying to themselves, I can't do this role. And again, the voices in our heads are kind of causing ourselves to jump off ourselves. Or we are being potentially pushed by others.
All right. So is this where kind of demotion sets in? And we leave that senior position and we lack confidence in what we do, or?
Yeah, sometimes demotion. Again, I'd need to sort of explore a little bit more around the statistics. I don't think demotion is ordinarily where it sits. I think, again, if you've been in a senior role, potentially if you're no longer in that senior role, again, from our own sense of pride and confidence, how do we feel about taking a role at a lesser level, really?
Yeah.
So I think what is happening is we are moving on to other organisations, or we're starting our own businesses. I think there are a huge amount of women over the last couple of years that have started to, start their own consultancies or start their own businesses, and part of that reason either is for work-life balance or because of how they felt at that senior level.
So would you say that's another option if someone's looking at either breaking the glass ceiling or dealing with this glass cliff? Think of being independent, having their own consultancy.
Yes. More and more women, as I said, sort of over the last couple of years, really, I think we're looking in the 60%. That may even have grown over the last couple of months since I looked at it. But the amount of new businesses that are being started, around about 60% of those are being started by women that have left the corporate workplace. Yeah.
But how would that leave the corporate workplace? Because you need women in senior leadership. You need women in an organisation. So what would what sort of effect would that have on an organisation?
I think I'm extremely passionate, actually, about supporting corporates. I think as an economy, I think as a country, we need the large corporates, whether we think we do or not. But my opinion is that we need them. And again, coming back to their talent management processes, their recruitment processes, their leadership development, all of those sorts of things. I think if they don't harness on that and do something to stop senior women leaving the business, I think that, whatever will happen to them, I don't think it's going to be great. And I think as we've got more and more campaigns now for, so many women on boards and so many women at senior levels, I don't think we should go for the targets. I know some people have sort of said, we need 50% male and female split at board level. And a lot more people have started to put quotas in. I don't necessarily agree with the quotas. I do think it should be the right person for the right role at the right time.
Absolutely.
But I do think organisations that perform much more effectively than everybody else have got a much more equal split at their top tables.
All right, thank you. So going back to the glass ceiling, now how exactly can we shatter this invisible barrier? What are the tips you have for us?
I think firstly, as we've said on numerous occasions over this sort of interview really, we have to have confidence in ourselves. If we do not have confidence in ourselves, we can have other people telling us how great we are or what our skills and strengths are. Unless we start to believe that for ourselves, it's never going to happen. So self-confidence has to be one of them.
All right.
I think another, and again, I've touched on this briefly, find either a coach or mentor. It could be somebody internal to your organisation or somebody external to your organisation. But I think somebody independent, really, that you can talk to about your career path, about where you want to go and explore different development options. So I think confidence and development are key. I think assigned to that, and again, we've touched on this briefly, you've got to find a mechanism to shut off those voices in your head. Whether it's positive affirmations, whether it's something you have stuck on your mirror or as a screensaver on your phone, find something positive that you can reaffirm to yourself on a daily basis if necessary. That in turn will then help you increase your confidence. And I think then that's something that you can share with either your coach or mentor.
Okay, thank you. There's an article written by David Wessel. He wrote it for the Wall Street Journal. And basically what he's saying is the glass ceiling is still there, but it's getting thinner. Do you agree with him?
Again, I think yes, on some respects. I think, again, because it's something that we as women talk much more openly about. And again, for men, I think you've shown they're there with those statistics of around 38%. Maybe a couple of years ago, no men would have thought that there was a glass ceiling. It may not have been something they'd ever come across. So I think the awareness is certainly helping. Getting thinner, yes, but I think again, without all of the press and all the media attention that it's had over the last couple of years, I think that's helping with it. I think it's unfortunate that it's needed to take that amount of media attention to get us to the point that we are now. So I think if we can do much more from a government level, from an organisation level and from an individual level, I would certainly hope over the next maybe 5 to 10 years, it's, the glass ceiling is a thing of the past, and we can't believe it was never there. Yes, yeah.
Hopefully. Okay, so what about this glass ceiling? Is this something is it something that would occur in your internal organisation or could affect you if you're thinking of going into another sector? So is it an internal thing or external thing?
I think more internal, actually, from my perspective. I think if we do believe it's something external, again, maybe that's our own self-belief, and we believe that there is, as individuals, we believe that there is a ceiling there that is stopping us. Okay. But I think, again, many more organisations are being much more open to various different sort of recruitment processes, making everything really much more inclusive. Yes. So I think that would certainly help. But for me, again, personally, I think probably something internal with the organisation, as opposed to saying it's something external. Yes, yeah.
Thank you. Then the point you touched on in terms of tackling this glass ceiling was about getting a mentor.
Yes.
Somebody more experienced.
Yes.
Now, do you have, in your experience as HR, do you have any organisations you can advise our viewers at home in terms of getting a mentor, or how do they go about this?
It very much depends on the sector. There are a couple of organisations I know around sort of the Winmark organisations. Right. They offer a number of different mentoring programmes for people within organisations from various different sectors. I myself am a mentor, so the Winmark really would mentor for everybody. So, male, female, they would help with everybody. I myself am a mentor for the Cherie Blair Foundation and also for the Aspire Foundation. Both of those foundations specifically are for women. From various different backgrounds. So they're two that I would certainly recommend. But Winmark is definitely one where people can go to look and they will source mentors from various different sectors and various different backgrounds.
And Winmark, is that for both men and women?
Yes, absolutely. Brilliant. Yes.
Okay, lastly, before we round up the show, can you give our viewers at home 3 nuggets for them to tackle?
I think, again, as we've spoken on, really, increase your confidence. And if you need to increase your skills to help you get there, then start looking at how to increase your skills. Are there different opportunities that you can take in the workplace? Can you get involved with different projects? Do you need to do a course? Is it about reading books or speaking to various different people? So I think do something to increase your confidence. I think secondly would be really make sure you've got a vision. Where is it that you want to get to? Are you are you happy at the level that you're at? Do you want to get to a very senior level? Do you want to start your own company? Whatever it is that may be, I think have your vision. And when you've got your vision, kind of make sure that you go through to it. I think the final one for me, probably a little bit quirky, maybe something that not everybody's expecting, but I think I've got two terms really, which are around energy angels and energy vampires. Oh dear. And energy angels can be tasks or people that give us energy and pick us up and make us feel absolutely great about ourselves. Energy vampires, that could be the voices that we have in our heads ourselves. It can be tasks that absolutely drain us, or it can be people that absolutely drain us. So I think I would say limit yourself around those energy vampires, because again, that can get you thinking about, I can't do this, I'm not good enough for this, and I don't know where to go. And try and surround yourself with as many energy angels as you possibly can do that will pick you up, give you a boost, and be able to support you on your journey.
Thank you, Kelly. I really like the energy angels. Yes. You were one of my angels. Thank you. So that is it. Hope you at home took away some vital information from today's show. And special thanks to my guest, Kelly Fryer, the CEO of Chrysalis Consulting, for joining me in the studio today. And thank you to everyone at home who got involved with the conversation. If you have any further comments or tips based on this topic, please do drop me a line on Facebook and Twitter. I would really love to hear your views. I've been your host, Morenike Ajayi. See you next time on Career Nuggets. And remember to stay focused, believe in yourself, and dream big.